The Alien movie contains mysteries that we explore in the videos. What the mysteries are and why they are in the movie is due to the background and production of the Alien movie. The movie's script changed several times before the movie was produced and during production. In addition, scenes were added and changed to the movie during production. Not all of these changes are noted in the scripts. The airlock scene is one of the most famous mystery scenes in the Alien movie. For most moviegoers, the scene is completely unknown, as there is not much evidence of its existence in the final film versions. The biggest reference to the airlock scene in the movie is the scene where Ripley confronts Ash. In the scene, Ripley's nose strangely bleeds before Ash starts to abuse Ripley. The bleeding is due to the pressure change that Ripley was exposed to in the airlock scene. The airlock scene was cut from the film for cost reasons during production. All the events on A deck that were related to the scene were filmed, such as Ripley's nosebleed. According to production documents, at least some of the events on B deck were also filmed, although not much material has been leaked to the public. The reason why the scenes from the A deck have been filmed is because in the production, all the filming was started from the scenes on the A deck, and after that, the sets on the A deck were changed to the sets on the B deck in the middle of the production. The scene begins when Ripley, Lambert, Ash, and Parker have gathered after Dallas's death. Parker goes to fill the methane cylinders in the flamethrower. Ash goes to investigate the mother computer, and Lambert and Ripley go to the cockpit. The following is a reconstruction of the entire scene by the Alien Vault channel as it is described in the script. In the scene, Parker returns along the B-deck corridor carrying flamethrower methane canisters. By chance, he notices the alien near the airlock, unaware of his presence. Parker whispers into the comm system to Lambert and Ripley, who are on the A-deck bridge, instructing them to slowly open the main airlock door. He tells them that on his signal, they must quickly shut the inner hatch. Ripley begins to open the inner airlock door, and a green light activates inside the B-deck airlock. The alien becomes fascinated by the green glow. Entranced and curious, it steps inside toward the airlock. Once the alien is inside, Parker orders Ripley and Lambert over comms to seal the inner hatch. The door begins to close silently behind the alien as it remains unaware. Suddenly, a loud klaxon blares. Startled, the alien leaps backward, but one of its limbs gets caught as the door continues to shut. The creature screeches as its trapped limb is crushed and bubbling acid blood gushes from the wound. The acid immediately starts eating through the door. The alien thrashes violently, tearing itself free and leaving the mangled limb jammed in the hatch. It bolts into the B-deck corridor, charging toward Parker. In the chaos, the alien knocks Parker down. His head strikes hard, leaving him unconscious. The inner hatch finally seals shut, while the outer hatch begins to open. Meanwhile, the acid continues to corrode the inner door. Ripley calls out for Parker. Lambert also asks what has happened. Ripley responds, "Inner hatch sealed. The outer hatch is open." The acid in the inner door eventually creates a small opening from which the air begins to be absorbed into space, and the air in the space begins to be compressed. Alarms blare and warning lights flash across the corridor. Lambert keeps asking about Parker, and Ripley decides to check the situation herself. Parker is unconscious in the corridor near the airlock antechamber, where the acid is corroding the door more and more. Ripley descends from A deck to B deck, where Parker lies half-conscious. She kneels beside him and asks what happened. Parker can't speak, but he weakly points toward the corroding door. The hole has now grown significantly larger and continues to expand. Red warning lights flash in the corridors as the atmosphere is steadily sucked out through the acid-burned breach. Nostromo's automatic emergency system activates. The ship begins closing its safety bulkheads and attempts to repressurize the affected sections. One safety bulkhead, which should seal off the airlock antechamber from the corridor where Ripley and Parker are trapped, fails to close. The obstruction is a methane canister from Parker's flamethrower. It fell into the doorway when Parker collapsed. The pressure inside the compartment drops rapidly. Ripley's strength begins to fade, blood trickling from her nose and ears due to decompression. Summoning her last energy, she strikes the canister loose. The safety bulkhead finally slides shut, sealing the breach. On the bridge, Lambert watches in panic as the warning lights flare and the alarms continue. She shouts, "Ash, get the oxygen. Meet me at the airlock," before sprinting off the bridge toward B-deck. In the depressurized chamber, with oxygen running out, Ripley struggles forward with her last strength toward the emergency panel at the end of the corridor. She tries to activate the door to reach a pressurized section with breathable air, but she fails. Suddenly, Lambert appears on the other side of the bulkhead and manages to activate the door. The compartment where Ripley and Parker are trapped repressurizes, and oxygen floods back into the room. Parker regains consciousness but can barely breathe, while Ripley is too weak to move or catch her breath. Lambert and Ash rush in, carrying oxygen tanks to assist them. Once given additional oxygen, both Parker and Ripley slowly recover. Outside the Nostromo, the escaping vapor freezes into an icy cloud. Ash asks Parker what happened to the alien. Parker explains that they couldn't trap it, something alerted the creature, and it panicked. Ripley immediately accuses Ash of warning the alien. She orders Lambert to calculate how much oxygen was lost and how much remains. Lambert, bewildered, questions Ripley's accusations against Ash. Ripley insists she can prove it once she gains access to Mother. This, in turn, leads directly into the sequence from the finished film where Ripley consults the computer and uncovers the truth about Special Order 937. If the scene had been in the movie, it would have had an impact on the movie's plot. The wounded alien's actions and ability to terrorize the crew would have changed dramatically, as would the damage to the ship due to the acid leaked from the alien. Also, the effect of the ship's oxygen level on future events. In the original scripts, the ship's oxygen levels appear as a key factor in the plot. In the film, the oxygen level is mentioned, but it does not create an escalating problem like in the screenplay. Ridley Scott also planned Lambert's death for the scene. All the ship's safety doors have not closed, and Lambert comes to Ripley and Parker at that point, while a safety bulkhead is still stuck open due to the methane tank. When Lambert tries to remove the obstacle, she is sucked against the inner door of the airlock where the corroded hole is. The high overpressure crushes and sucks Lambert out into space through a small hole. While Lambert blocks the leak with her body, the pressure inside the Nostromo briefly equalizes and Ripley manages to remove the methane tank from the safety bulkhead. Ridley Scott originally wanted to film the scene, but the technical implementation of Lambert being sucked through a small opening would not have been possible. Lambert's fate in the film is another mystery, which we will explore in another video. Ridley Scott ultimately did not know how Lambert would die. It has been speculated that this is because Lambert was originally supposed to die in the airlock scene, as Ridley Scott had drawn in the storyboards, but when the scene was cut, Lambert's death remained a question.
We're here. What is it? Parker.
It's outside the main airlock door. Now, open the door slowly when I say. Then close it fast and blow the outer door. Stand by. Okay, now.
Parker. Parker. Going down. Stay here. Ripley. Ripley. Ash. Ripley. Ash, get some oxygen and get down to the lock quick.
Write in the comments what you think of the airlock scene. Should it have been included in the final film? Remember to like the video, and if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time to do so. Subscribing is free, and by subscribing, you'll always get a notification when new Alien franchise-related videos are uploaded to the channel.